everybody? This is your boy D-Max. Let's talk. So, in the talk about shoes, basketball shoes, we've been talking about the MB1s and LaMelo's trying to get that number one jersey so he can bring out those MB1s. Everybody's waiting for him. It's been a lot of talk around shoes lately, and one of the things that they've said about shoes naturally is Triple B's, big baller brand, and I heard a critique about them. They were saying that Lonzo had to change his shoes out during each basketball game or something like that because the shoes were not quality shoes. And they gave a real bad review about the Triple B's because of that. And so now let's fast forward. I brought it up, mentioned the other day that when Zion Williamson was at Duke, he had a blowout as well. A pair of Nikes. Pretty popular shoe, known to be a pretty durable shoe, and it's held in very high regard. But it blew out. But went straight through the shoe. Well, now, fast forward a little bit more. Here we are today. We had a guy playing for the Lakers, a young man, wearing, ironically, a pair of Zion 1s. Had the exact same thing that happened to him. Foot came all the way through the shoe. Busted totally through the shoe. So now are we going to have those reviews about Nike? Are we going to have those criticisms of Nike? Because that's twice that a Nike shoe has been blown through by a athlete, a professional athlete at that. But yet and still there's been no ridicule and there's been no critique of Nike for these defective shoes. Why is that? I think it has a lot to do with Nike being as big as they are and them having an invested interest in Nike. Because as I said before, these endorsement deals are directly tied to the colleges and they're directly tied to the NBA. And so it would be in their best interest to not say anything about these shoes blowing out. But I'll say this. If you can make that excuse for Nike and just slide it under the rug like it just happens, why can't it just happen with a pair of Triple B's? Why can't it just happen with a pair of Master P shoes? It seems like anybody who's trying to build wealth, trying to do what the so-called American dream is, this is the country where you can come over here and you can make something of yourself, starting at the bottom. But it seems like that lie is being perpetuated and it's not really being exercised. Okay, in America, you cannot become what you want to be unless you play the game with the right people who's going to exploit you and make more money off of your idea and your product than you. This is the idea. This is what the takeaway is for most people. You look at a show like Shark Tank. Shark Tank shows you exactly what the American businesses do to people who are trying to start a business. They see that you have a good product or a decent product that'll sell. It's marketable. Okay, well, I want this much interest in it in order for you to get started. And what they don't tell you is the amount of money that they're going to put it in their market. They have some resources available to help you get where you need to go, but it's going to cost you. And it's not going to be a short-term thing where they're going to put their money in to help you to get on and build up and then take their money out. No, they want their money back with interest. A lot of interest. And this is the same thing that Nike and Puma and Adidas and all of these other shoe brands do with these athletes. They make so much money off of these guys, but these guys get pennies on the dollar with these shoe deals. You look at a lot, there's not many shoes that really hit like that. They hit the market and really blow up. You know, you have a few. You have the LeBrons, you have of course Jordans, you have the other notable shoe that I would say coming up in my time, I came up in the 90s, so we had the Ken Griffey Juniors. Those was always hot. The Bo Jacksons were always hot. Let's see, who else has some shoes? And I'm reluctant to say, but I have to be totally honest if I'm gonna do this and be real. Like I said, I'm gonna be real with my people. But the Charles Barkleys were fire. I ain't gonna lie. I had some Charles Barkleys. I had the white, black, and purple ones. Yeah, those was fire. I ain't even gonna lie. So there's only a few athletes who really have a shoe that sells like that. And to try to start from ground up and bring out a new type of shoe that nobody has ever been accustomed to or anything like that, and it's not attached to Nike or Puma or any of those, it's really, really hard to try to get that thing going, man. And so as LeVar Ball has the Triple Bs, and I know he's going to relaunch the Triple Bs once Jello gets established. The question comes down to, are his sons going to back the Triple Bs? I feel like they have enough money, they've generated enough revenue now that they can get a quality shoe. Or will it be a in conjunction type deal to where it'll be Triple Bs, but they'll be Nikes? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that type of deal. But I would like to see a shoe come out, a shoe brand on its own, not Nike, not associated with Nike or associated with any of these other big brands, and really develop and become one of the premier shoes. This is what I want to see. For way too long, Nike has been exploiting these people. For way too long, Puma and Adidas and New Balance have been exploiting these young men. These are the ones who are out there making the trends. They're setting the trends. Okay, and Nike has been exploiting black athletes for far too long. Far too long. That's why whenever it came down to the Black Lives Matter movement, Nike knew where their money was. They knew who their target audience is as far as their shoe sales and who makes a majority of their money. So they had to have something to say about Black Lives Matter. They had to have some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Unity with Colin Kaepernick when he decided to protest in the way that he did. Nike was one of the main supporters of Colin Kaepernick because they understood the marketing, they understood how they could capitalize off of the situation. And that's what they did. They capitalized off of Colin Kaepernick's situation. They capitalized off of Naomi Osaka's situation. Nike has made a large amount of money by capitalizing on situations, capitalizing on the black struggle, capitalizing on anything to do with their target customers. So now we have the Zion ones busting open on this young man for the Lakers. What are we going to do about that? Are we going to talk bad about the Zion ones? Are we going to have it blasting all over Sports Center? Are we going to have it? Well, I'm doing a show about it, but I don't think anybody else is going to bring it up. But this is a disparity that we really need to get in check, because there are some men out here and women who are trying to get themselves established in this shoe industry. And Kanye West already told us that it's so hard to get a shoe out there without being connected to one of these larger shoe industries. That's why he had to link up with a Nike or an Adidas to do his Yeezys. But to do it on your own and just to have your own shoe without those other guys involved in it is pretty much a non-existent thing. So how are we supposed to grow, and how are we supposed to expand and do these great things if we're being limited to just these certain types of shoes? It's just like the control of the money in this country. There are only 6 major networks, and they're all owned by the same people. So there are our music, our TV shows, podcasts, all of this stuff is controlled by a small percentage. And all 6 of these major networks and major labels and stuff, they work together for a common goal, and that's exploiting us to make millions and to keep us under a certain type of control and a certain type of narrative. Same thing with the shoe industry, to keep us under control, keep us wearing their shoes, keep us promoting their shoes, and keeping us in a certain type of narrative. You see the narrative with the black Air Force Ones. If you wear the black Air Force Ones, you're basically a thug. This is the narrative that's been sent out about those shoes. And now anybody who wears those black Air Force Ones, in the back of some people's minds, they're going to be like, oh, that's a thug, based on the shoes that you wear. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Do you see what is happening? Based on the shoes that I'm wearing, someone is going to label me a terroristic threat. Because that's what gang members and thugs are now. Remember, they put gangs on the terrorist list. So if I'm walking down the street with a pair of all black Air Force Ones on, and somebody sees me, oh, there goes a terrorist. He's a thug, he's a gang member, he's a terrorist because he has on those shoes. And that's the only thing that they have to go by is the shoes that I have on. They're making a full, complete judgment about me as a person because of the shoes that I have on. I've seen children be bullied because of the shoes that they have or don't have. There was just a story the other day where a little baby son was bullied and pushed around in school because of the shoes that he had on, and that was because the kids didn't understand that these were some really high-priced shoes. But because it didn't say Nike or Adidas or something that they recognized, they felt that they had the right to bully this child. You see what this is doing? This is just another level of division amongst the people, man. And we have to get this under wraps. We have to make our children understand the important things in life. Shoes and what type of shoes somebody got on is not important, because those shoes and those shoes are not going to determine the path of your life. You know what I'm saying? I can recall when I was in elementary school and I wanted certain pairs of shoes and my mom couldn't afford them. And so at that time I was 14 and I got a summer job and I worked the whole summer to get those types of shoes that I wanted, because I was going into middle school and high school and stuff, and I wanted those things because I wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to be singled out. And as I started to work and earn my money for the summer, I became more reluctant to buy those high-priced shoes that I initially wanted, because then I started to understand the value of earning your money. And do you really want to go out and spend your money or waste your money on one pair of shoes when you can maximize your money and probably get 2 or 3 pair of shoes for the price of that one pair of overpriced shoes. And so then I started to understand the value of money, and these shoes are not that important. So instead of going getting those shoes that I wanted, which was the Nikes at the time, I went and got Converse. I went and got New Balance. And I could get 2 pair of New Balances for the price that I could for a pair of Nikes. Oh, and this is an old school style of shoe. Y'all, like if you born in the 2000s or you don't know nothing about Asics. I had a pair of Asics. I rocked my Asics. They was dope. But, you know, nowadays, if you don't have the leading brands, then you're considered lame. You're considered broke. You're considered poor. You consider all of these stupid things, and it absolutely makes no sense. And there are children out here who are stressing and want to die because they don't have certain shoes or certain clothes, and they feel like that's what life is about. Let's stop it, man. Stop it. This is dumb. I'm not going to encourage it anymore, and I hope a lot of people really push this video because a lot of kids need to see this and understand. Yo, this is your boy D-Mac, man. Teach your kids the right thing. Teach them priorities in life, because shoes, it ain't about that, man. This young man playing for the Lakers, his Zion 1s blew out, just like a pair of Triple B's would or any other shoe. So let's quit this. This is your boy D-Mac. You know what I say, sticks and stones break your bones, but the word can always heal you.